Hello, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. We have arrived in our reading of the Torah at Parshat Emor, whereas last week's Parsha Kedoshim talked about Bnei Israel being holy as a nation. This week's Parsha speaks mostly about specific regulations concerning priests, how certain sacrifices are to be performed, who can eat of what sacrifices, stuff like that. But towards the middle of the Parsha, we see a recitation of the calendar of sacred time. This is one of 3 times that the calendar is mentioned in the Torah. And if you were in services over Pesach, you would remember part of this reading from the second day, right, where it talks about Pesach specifically. And in addition to Pesach, right, we're in the midst right now of counting the Omer, right? We're counting towards Shavuot, and it's this beautiful ritual which takes something ordinary like counting days and turning it into something holy. We're given this great opportunity to bring holiness into a regular day, and the command for counting the Omer actually comes from this week's Parsha, where it says this: Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe Emor, daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta aleihem, ki tavo'u el haaretz asher ani noten lachem, uktirtem et ktsira, v'havetem et Omer reshit ktsirchem el hakohen. V'henif et haomer lifnei Adonai l'rtzonchem, and mimachorat haShabbat yinifenu hakohen. And then it skips some verses, goes on to say, Uspartem lachem mimachorat haShabbat, miyom haviachem et Omer hatnufa, sheva Shabbatot tmimot tihiyena, ad mimachorat haShabbat hashvi'it tisperu chamishim yom, v'hikravtem mincha chadasha l'Adonai, which all means, God said to speak to the Bnei Israel and say to them thus: when you enter the land that I am giving you and you reap its harvest, you shall bring the first sheaf of your harvest to the priest. He shall elevate the sheaf before God for acceptance on your behalf. The priest shall elevate it on the day after the Shabbat, which here means Pesach, and from the day on which you bring the sheaf of the elevation offering, the day after the Shabbat, you shall count off 7 weeks. They must be complete. You must count until the day after the 7th week, 50 days. Then you shall bring an offering of new grain to Adonai, right? So God here is giving an instruction for bringing the sheaves of wheat to the priests, who will do what we call the wave offering. And then Omer also is a specific measurement, a dry measurement calculated in biblical weights and measures. But here it's clearly the Torah is telling us that we have to count, these 7 weeks. And on the 50th day, right, that is Shavuot, right? That's going to be the holiday, the festival of Shavuot. Shavuot is one of the 3 major pilgrimage festivals mentioned in the Torah. And so it's interesting here that God is giving these instructions to farmers, right? Because this is an agricultural practice and this is part of biblical agricultural law. So God has given instructions to farmers to remind them that we are just really renters of the land, right? The land of Israel, which of course belongs to God, who promised it to our ancestors, right? And so we then have the act of counting, right? And when we think about counting, we're looking towards a certain significant event. Normally people count down, right? We have a countdown clock, right? However many days to, 7 days, 6 days, 5 days, whatever it is. It's usually a countdown. But here in the Torah and counting the Omer, we're actually counting up, the first day, the second day, the third day. And why is it that we're in Judaism that we count upwards? Why? Because ma'alim b'kodesh, right? We increase in our holiness. The Rabbi Hillel teaches us in the Gemara. And so we count upwards the days of Shavuot, right? Increasing in our holiness towards this day, which on Shavuot, we celebrate that sublime moment where heaven and earth came together and God gave us their most precious gift, which of course was the Torah. So I hope that's something interesting to think about over the course of Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you all in services.